G'day everyone, in this video here we're going to be looking at finding quartiles for an even number of data values. So for this question here, the weights in kilograms of 14 parcels lodged at the post office an hour before closing are listed. So they're all listed here. So here we've got 14 values and even, so it just changes how you actually work out your Q2, Q1 and Q3 a little bit between odd and even numbers, and we're just going to go over that. So I've done part A, listing the data in order from smallest to largest. So I've done that and it's all written there. If you'd like to have a look at that, look at the previous video of how to do that. But we're going to find the range. So finding the range, this is the highest number minus the smallest number. So here we just need to do 3.5 minus 0.4. So this here will give us a value of 3.1 as the range. Okay. Now part C, we first need to find the median. So with an even amount of values, we're going to have the median is in between the 7th and 8th number. So if we split this data after the 7th number, so 1, 2, 3, so that's right here in between 1.8 and 2. Okay, so we'll have 7 numbers on this side and 7 numbers on this side. So Q2 is then going to equal I'll actually work it out. It's going to equal 1.8 plus 2.0 divided by 2, because we need to take the average of those two numbers that are in the Q2 position, okay, on either side of that. Okay, so this here, hopefully you realize, is equal to 1.9. So secondly, it asks us to work out the lower quartile, Q1. So with this, we have an odd amount of numbers. So this is going to be one number exactly. So if we look, this is going to be our 4th number because we've got 7. Okay, it's just, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so we look, we've got 3 numbers on either side of that. That's how I knew it was going to be the 4th number. So this here is equal to 1.2. And now we're going to look at Q3, and this is done the exact same way, but on the upper quartile. We've got 7 numbers, so a good way to think about it, often I normally add 1 and half 1, and that's going to be what number it's going to be for when it's an odd number. So half of 8 is 4, so it's going to be the 4th number, which is 2.6. Okay, so this is going to be Q3. So now that we have this, we can find our IQR, which is part 4 of C. So our IQR is just Q3 minus Q1, or the interquartile range. And this is where 50% of our data is between. So our middle 50% of data. So this here is 2.6 minus 1.2, which is equal to 1.4. Okay, and then lastly in this question, it asks us to interpret the data. So this just means that you need to give a bit of a short sentence about, it's just seeing if you understand what the IQR is and how much it does cover. So to say this, we just need to say the middle 50% of the data, because that's what the IQR is. So the middle 50% of packages, so we're relating it back to the question. And we can say it differed, or it had a range of 1.4 kilograms, so something like that. So I'm just going to use the word differed. By 1.4 kilograms. Okay, so just make sure that you do relate this back to the question by having the packages, by having the units that's involved in the question. Okay, so whenever you're interpreting something, make sure that you do relate it back to whatever your question is and what the data relates to. Don't just say the middle 50% of the data is 1.4. It's important to include that they're packages and it's 1.4 kilograms. Okay, so just be aware of that, and hopefully this gives you some understanding on how to actually work out these when we have an even amount of data values. So hopefully this helps, and good luck.